There have been a few storylines we've been following going into the off season, and one of those question marks was coaching. A few teams have made changes already, and one of those teams is the Sudbury Wolves after Ken McKenzie stepped down at the end of the 23-24 regular season. And this morning, the Sudbury Wolves have announced that they have hired Scott Barney as their next head coach. He'll take over in time for the 2024-25 OHL regular season. And Barney, from everything that I'm hearing, is a great pickup for the Sudbury Wolves. He has spent the last 6 seasons with the Humboldt Broncos. He joined them as an assistant coach following the tragic bus incident involving the Broncos hockey team, and not long after, promoted to interim head coach. That was during the 2018-2019 season, and then eventually named head coach. So that's 6 straight playoff appearances that he's had since taking over as head coach with Humboldt. So he's done a fantastic job with the hockey team, also winning 2 division titles. So he has that winning pedigree, and we'll see if he can carry that over to the Ontario Hockey League with the Sudbury Wolves. Now with the Humboldt Broncos, with the bus incident, he knew going into it that it was going to be quite the challenge, of course, impacting not just the team, but also the community of Humboldt, Saskatchewan, and really doing a great job managing all the different angles that he was called upon. So from what I'm hearing, he's a great character guy and really good for the players, which I'm sure that's something that the Sudbury Wolves are looking for, is they try to maybe change a bit of the culture inside the locker room for the Sudbury Wolves team. After last year, a bit of a disappointment. There was also a lot of penalties, one of the most penalized teams in the OHL last year. Also a lot of suspensions involving the Sudbury Wolves. So when you bring in a guy like Barney, maybe try and change the direction of this team a little bit. We'll have to wait and see, but everything's pointing that this is going to be a great rebuilding process for the Sudbury Wolves. This is a team that still views themselves as being competitive in the Eastern Conference. Their goal is to make the playoffs, and I don't think there'd ever be a team that would ever go into a season saying, well, our goal is not to make the playoffs. We want the first overall pick. You'll never hear that. But this is a Sudbury Wolves team. They're serious about making the playoffs. They took their time on making this decision. At the start of the process, it sounded like Drake Barahowski was going to be the next head coach of the Sudbury Wolves, but the team deciding to go this route. And from what I'm hearing, this is a great pickup for the Sudbury Wolves. It'll be interesting just to see what he can bring to this organization, because he is an Ontario native. He's from Oshawa. During his OHL days, a member of the Peterborough Petes, and also served as captain for the 1998-99 season. So he has a background with the Ontario Hockey League. He also played a handful of games with the Los Angeles Kings after being selected 29th overall by the Kings in the 90s. He didn't stick around too long professionally in North America, eventually going around the world. He had stops in Germany, Czechia, Italy, Finland, South Korea, and China. So he's been around the world. He's seen the game from different angles, and most recently, of course, with the Humboldt Broncos. So I think this is a good addition for the Sudbury Wolves. It's nice to see them going outside of their circles, trying to get a new perspective on the way things are going to be done in the Nickel City. I know that was the one concern going into this past season, is that the Sudbury Wolves were just recycling old ideas. Ken McKenzie, of course, coached the Sudbury Wolves in the early 90s, and then has been involved as an assistant GM even between now and then, and just being brought back as a head coach. It kind of felt like they're trying to recycle the coaching styles and strategies. So they're taking a new approach. We'll see what Barney is able to do. I think this is a great call for the Sudbury Wolves. We'll just have to wait and see how it all transpires. And with the Sudbury Wolves announcing their head coach, that leaves the Windsor Spitfires to name a head coach. Greg Walters is still the name I keep hearing. Of course, his suspension is about to come to an end. So once we find out he can be a coach again, if he's reinstated, it sounds like then we'll find out whether or not the Windsor Spitfires do decide to bring in Walters as their next head coach. So that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on the coaching changes. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll talk to you again soon.